What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah, CB myself.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm Jim Green.
Don't even need a hit of traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One set.
So let's talk about shoes. You ever buy someone's shoes?
like a name brand or like a sports shoe type of thing, like any type of thing. Yeah, I absolutely am.
But you have to know their size, right?
Right.
So
Oh, like buying somebody else a pair of shoes.
yes.
No, I don't think I have. No.
Yeah, and for good reason. Okay. So
I assume.
I bought Cheyenne this Phillies hat for Christmas, and I was like, I got this weird shaped dome for my intelligent brain, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm like a 7 5/8 fitted. So
Mhm.
I went to, like, when I was shopping for her, I walked into the Liz. I was like, I want to get her a Phillies hat. And I saw this one and I was like, God, I would love her in that. So I was like, 7.5 should be fine. Her head's not as big as mine.
Mhm.
Whatever. She tried
Yeah,
it
whatever.
on. Yeah, whatever. So gave it to her for Christmas, and she tried it on, and the hat was like super big on her dome. I was like,
Mm.
ruh-roh. Right?
Oh.
So, I went to like 3 different lids to find this same hat. I wound up returning the original one, and they were like, "Oh, you can just go online and order the size that you want." So I was like, "Okay,
Mhm.
perfect." Got my $45 back for the hat because that's what they cost nowadays.
Mhm.
God, do you remember when hats were like less than $30 when we were in high school? Oof,
Yeah. Right.
amazing.
Remember Lids in the Grand River Mall?
Yeah, well, that's the Lids is where I got the hat from, right?
Mhm.
So she had a gift card for Maggiano's where you and Jen got engaged.
Mhm.
And
Which
we
haven't
walked.
been there in forever. We got to get back there.
It's so weird. I took Cheyenne there in May,
Mhm.
and she had never been before. Like, I had the
Like
Lehigh,
ever.
the
Wow.
Lehigh studio was competing in King of Prussia, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take you shopping, and we're gonna go to this place that I love. That I
Mhm.
only go to like suddenly, like you said, you haven't been in forever, right?
Right.
Um, it was just so cool. I mean, um, we walked in and they told us that the wait was going to be 30 to 45 minutes, and we were like, well, she said, well, the bar's open, can we just sit and eat there? And they were like, oh yeah, go ahead. Before we walked in, she said the sexiest thing to me. She said, can we just maybe split a couple appetizers if you're cool with that? And I was like,
Slaps the money on the table. Get them all.
yeah. it was so awesome because I was like, okay, we're not each getting $20 to $30 entrees. We're just sharing 3 appetizers, and damn.
Which I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're having Italian appetizers, that's almost like you're having an entree anyway, because they give you enough food there.
Absolutely. And so I sat down and I was like, all right, we're at an Italian spot. We got to do a cheese thing, and we got to do a protein thing. So there was the like 3 or 4 cheese. God, it was like a fondue dip,
Okay.
and it's so good. And then there was an Italian sausage flatbread that we got, and I was like, let's get a sausage, not a sausage.
Whoopsie.
Okay.
Ah. I got a drink tonight, so it's good. I missed it last time.
Yeah, I told her, I was like, when's the last time we had a salad? She was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, when's the next time we're gonna have a salad? I was like, let's get a salad.
2
She's
weeks
like,
later, like
yeah, seriously. So she was like, let's get the wedge. Because when we were out the last time that we had a salad was when we went to see our friend. You can censor this or not because I don't have her approval.
Yeah.
At Stevens.
Mhm.
I was just like, I haven't seen her in forever. Let's just go out. So we went.
Right.
We saw her. She was so excited to see us. And when we were at Stevens, we got a wedge salad. And let me tell you, I am a blue cheese hater, but the wedge salad with the blue cheese,
Super good. I'm kind of the
so
same way. I
good.
mean, I used to do blue cheese with wings, but now I'm more back to ranch. I don't mind blue cheese. Just if they have too much of the chunks in there, it can take away more of it. But if it's too blue cheese, like they have too much of the chunks in there, it's like, okay. So, I don't know. I'm it's kind of like hit or miss.
Yeah, hit or miss. Chunky, right?
Chunky! Yeah.
Oh my god. Bro, tell me about your weekend.
It was good. The gig that I had at Harrah's was amazing. I was 1,000% uh, more warm than I was the first time, so it was definitely a lot better. And knowing that I was in the lobby of the casino, I thought, it's gonna be a slow day. I'm not gonna be worrying about people going, but there was a decent like flow of people going in and out. So I was like, all right, at least I'm not just playing for myself, hearing the echoes of the room and everything. My dad was there, so he was, coming in and out. He would just hit up the slots for a little bit. Then he was watching the end of the Sixers game in the bar area, and then I would be playing. I was live streaming, so then I was able to kind of just talk to the people on the live stream a little bit better than what I usually do, because sometimes I'll just flip it on and let people watch.
Sure.
Sometimes I'm more connected to the people that are in front of me personally than the live feed every once in a while, but I'll acknowledge the people there.
Acknowledge. Yeah.
Acknowledge them who are watching me. But no, it was a great time. I did two long sets, 2 1 hour and 15-minute sets, and that's usually pretty decent for me. And then I did a 45-minute set to end out the night. And yeah, it was really good. I haven't been to the Harrah's location in there in a couple years because I used to go down there for poker nights, and me, my brother, and we'll probably censor his name out too because we don't. But we used to go there around like midnight, and we would just throw some money on some slots, see if we can hit anything. It would be the hit or a miss, or later on I would go and play the poker room, do some things. But yeah, that was cool. The gig was great. Sunday, watched the game, and had a great time there. I saw you went out for the game. Where did you go?
Which game? Because I was at 2 separate locations for both.
Oh, okay. Then, well, where'd you go?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Caddy on.
Caddy on. My friend, and I mean, again, I will just do that.
Mm-hmm.
He is the biggest Eagles fan that I know. Period. No holds barred. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so he works out in this town called Kennett Square, right? So picked him up, and we went to this marketplace where he's like, oh, I got like a friend that bartends there. So coordinated with Cheyenne, and I was like, all right, let's go out to Kennett for the first game, but let's come home, close to home, for the second game.
Yeah.
Playing it smart just in case we needed to get a ride kind of thing.
Right.
So we were out in Kennett, and I was sitting there next to him, and he, this place that we were at, it was like a very family-friendly environment. Like, there were kids sitting at a table behind us, so we had to, like, curb our language a little bit. Like, no whoopsies, like, none of
Right.
that. Or if we did, we said it, like, really quietly.
Really quietly.
Yeah. But I asked him, I was like, when did you become an Eagles fan? He's like, Reggie Cunningham days. I was like,
Ooh.
oh my God. Like,
Randall Cunningham, but yeah, I knew what you meant.
and that's how much I didn't pay attention to football in the 90s.
It's all good. I used to dress up like Randall. I got a quick Randall Cunningham story. It's pretty funny. So my dad took me and my brother to an Eagles practice back in the 90s, and I'm a short stick of a kid, and I was really into Randall Cunningham, so I had like a big Eagles helmet, the whole Randall Cunningham shirt and everything. So I dressed up like a football player that day. And this is how much you can get away with in the 90s and you wouldn't get canceled. These football players were talking so much to me. They were just, as they were coming out, like, look at this kid with the they were talking so much to me, and I'm just looking at like, I'm just waiting for Randall Cunningham. They're just talking so much, and I'm like, I'm just this kid, and I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I'll always remember that. It was so funny.
That's
I can laugh
fantastic.
at it now, but yes, I was a big Randall Cunningham fan when I was a kid.
Was that your first outing to like a sports game? Like,
well, it wasn't even a game. It was like a practice.
Like
so
you said,
like
practice,
it was like,
yeah.
well, yeah. I would probably say maybe one of the few, because I know my dad took us to Sixers games, and we didn't really do too many football games. It was more 76ers, Harlem Globetrotters, and
Sure.
a lot of basketball stuff. But yeah, so. We were always into big sports when we were little, so we would always go to the home games and everything. But yeah, that one football memory just always comes back to me. And when you saying Randall Cunningham, that just clicked in my head. That was so funny.
I love it. I love it
but
so much.
Not to
man.
cut you off, but sorry.
No. It's perfect. I don't know where I was going with that.
You were saying that how long you were asking him how long you've been an Eagles fan, and he said Randall Cunningham days.
Yeah. He was like 4 or 5 years old, and he remembered watching as a tyke and watching the Eagles and being a super fan then. And I'm like, I almost wish that I loved sports like that as a kid, because I didn't grow to love sports until I was in my 20s and early 30s,
Right.
like now. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. He was hooting, hollering, like going wild, and I'm just sitting there like, I wanted to be like, dude, settle down. But at the same time, I was like, he's so passionate about the Eagles thriving and going.
Yeah.
And he told me before game one. He told me before game one, he was like, Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. And I was like, dude, you're wildly insane for making such a bold call before the season even started. And I wanted to be like, you're just a super fan and you're just over your head about it. But he knew, and he knows. He pays attention. He knows the players on all the other teams, and he's like, these are our weapons, and we're going to crush.
Yeah.
And everyone that is going to shut us down and be like, oh, the Eagles had a good schedule, like, whatever. Okay, fine. We're going to go play the Chiefs. in 2 weeks, 13 days rather. We're shooting this
Yeah.
Monday night, January 30th, but um, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl, and if we can be the
Super
Super
Bowl.
oh baby, right? If
Baby. And like I was telling you, again, this is crazy how like and you said like I know you said you were already into the Eagles around their other Super Bowl championship reign, but this year seems more crazy to me that you were so into the Phillies and then another that the Phillies went into the World Series and then another Philly team goes right into the Super Bowl. Like that's just crazy to me.
and the
Like
Sixers
how
didn't
you
do
were just so rolling, and yeah,
the
Sixers, but
Sixers didn't do too bad either, but
yeah, they're
I
not doing
mean,
too bad right now.
nah. And
We're
B
getting
is
towards the middle of the season right now, so
and
they're
B
they're
is
kind
putting up
of
numbers. I mean, can't
yeah,
discount that. And
no, not at all.
I'm not like seriously paying attention to them yet. And honestly, it's because I'm like, okay, once football ends,
Yeah,
basketball and baseball will start, and even then, like I'll watch, but I won't be like, we're going to the World Series, baby.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. They have those marks like first game they win, go to the World Series, baby, yeah.
oh, that's it. We're gonna
Like,
crush everything. Done.
like
No.
all right, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. We had a little technical difficulty with the connection, but so we were talking about almost like bandwagon people saying that yeah there's always people like after the first game and they're like woo we're going to the World Series.
Yeah, which is really opposite for me this year.
Hmm.
I miss a lot of Eagles games because I was just like, wow, they're just winning. And it got boring. I was like, okay, let them win. Let them win.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, let's get to the playoffs and then I'll pay attention. And it wasn't because I don't love the Eagles. I am through and through Philly, of course.
yeah.
But they were doing so well that I was like, I'm bored. So I didn't feel like I had to tune in to some of the games. Pardon me, sorry. But once we made it to the postseason, I was like, all right, we get the
Let's
first
go.
round bye. Let's go. I actually wanted the Eagles to play the Cowboys in the NFC Championship.
I
And
was
then,
thinking it was going to be that too, but because I had thought the Cowboys were going to be a better matchup for us, but with the way the game went, I mean it's I was saying this too that it's unfortunate that Purdy got hurt so quick, and then the fourth string quarterback got a concussion. Purdy had to come back in, and I'm not sure. I mean, if you heard it through the game because you were in the bar, but McCaffrey, he was next in line to be the QB because he had QB experience, so he had to change his helmet just in case he had to start being QB. But Purdy actually went in, but he couldn't throw. So I mean, he was just doing either runs or little small scrambled picks. He was not able to throw it long.
yeah, I mean, even once we were ahead by like 3.5 scores towards the end of the
Yeah.
game, Jalen Hurts was just like, take the ball and just run it. He didn't want any picks, no interceptions, and he was saving his
No.
arm because he's dealing with his shoulder, I think, right?
Yes. And he was playing smart. I mean, like you said, that I think they knew they were in a comfortable position. They didn't want to let off the gas, but the fact that you don't have to make any star quality plays right now, just run the ball, drain it, because I mean, San Francisco was able to stop the run at times, so their defense was definitely good. I mean, our offense didn't have a great game, but we were able to get by. I mean, obviously, we played way better during the Giants game last week, but our offense wasn't the greatest, but we still made it. I thought A.J. Brown was going to get a couple more touches than he did. I thought he was going to at least get a touchdown, which I lost 100. I missed $150 because he didn't get a touchdown. But yeah, that's the way betting goes, people.
Yeah, I mean, saying that the offense didn't do so great is kind of an interesting statement only because we won 31-7. We definitely outbeat them pretty good. I think the game just got boring in the second half, and it was just like, we're riding this out.
I did not expect that score. I mean, yeah, the injuries on the 49ers did, damper the whole thing for them, but I still expected them to at least, score another touchdown, but they didn't get another one after that first one. Because when they scored that first, I'm like, all right, we're gonna get a game now. It's gonna be going back and forth, but we just took it and we got that touch. We got the one touchdown off the interception, right before the half that put us up I think 21-7. So we were riding pretty good with that. Or did we get a touchdown? Or I think we got a field goal. One of those. So we were sitting pretty good at half, and then I think we stopped them. We stopped the 49ers on their first possession in the third. Then we came back and scored, I believe. So we were doing really good. We didn't let off anything, but like I said, we still had a couple 3-and-outs that were like, okay, it wasn't perfect, but again, at the end of the day, a win's a win.
Yeah, I just want to say, really quick, these commentators in these games, stop eating the other team's okay? Because like seriously, it was all about oh, look how strong San Fran is. Oh, look how great. And I was just like, hey, can anyone acknowledge the Eagles are decent? Stop downplaying them. That pissed me off so bad.
That's what they were doing in the 2017 playoffs too. They were not giving us the recognition. We came into that game underdogs and we, showed up. So I mean, this year I obviously do not feel we are an underdog. Our team is healthy. We don't have any major injury. I mean, we're playing with injuries. Don't get me wrong. There are players that are playing with injuries. Just Jalen Hurts being the obvious one. Lane Johnson, he's playing hurt. A lot of the guys. I mean, you're coming into these games at the end of the season. If you're not on IR already, you're playing with something. Because I mean, you're at that high of a level. You're going to learn how to play with some type of injuries. But we're coming in a lot healthier than what we did in 2017. I feel, and I just feel. I mean, and again, I was saying this is going to be something. If we do win the Super Bowl, this will be something people will be comparing. Who was the better team, the 2017 Eagles or the 2023 Eagles? That'll be something that we can always compare later down the line, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people talking about that. But right now, it's going to be the fact that we have an Eagles and Chiefs game that we're going to be looking forward to. And let's talk a little bit about the Chiefs game. We tackled the Eagles. Let's talk a little bit about the Chiefs game. What did you think?
For sure. Okay, so I was in Kennett for the first game with my buddy, who lives out that way, and he didn't have a plan to come back, but he was just so hype about the Eagles winning. He was like, I'm coming back with you guys to Delco, and I was like, yeah, let's go, right?
Yeah.
So we went to we have a place that we like to venture. It's got a pool table. It's got a dartboard. And, man, I can go on about... And I'm going to, all right? So we sat down at the bar. We found a spot at the corner. And we're looking over. People were already playing pool. So we're like, man. They cashed out. They left. Pool table's open. These two fellows sit. There's this peninsula island thing that juts out right next to the dartboard. And they were like, oh, we're going to go sit over here and wrap our legs around each other and be like, we love each other. And okay, I'm not, hey, do what you do, love who you love. I'm not attacking anyone for their personal preference, right? But All right, I'm gonna sound off for a second. All right, because you and I are both kind of the same person, where it's like, hey, you know your surroundings. You don't want to be in anybody's way. Like, if you feel like you're in someone's way, you want to move for their convenience, because we're just good people like that.
Yeah.
Pool table opens, and my buddy and I start playing, and there were like at least 4 shots that I couldn't make comfortably because these couple of dudes were sitting there petting each other's faces. I'm like, just go home. Just go home. I don't care.
Mm.
Like, that's fine. Just do, like, it's fine that you're doing that.
But
But
respect the people around the game.
You're in my way. I need to make this shot because I'm trying to crush my friend because I'm in a competitive mindset right now. You know? I was just like, Jesus. So then
I'm in the whoopsie zone right now.
Seriously, I am in the
whoopsie
zone. Thank you. Yeah, that.
And you're messing up my mojo.
Yeah. So at some point they leave, and prior to that, when we were sitting at the bar, this dude walked in. I forget his name. He's cousins with. He's like mutual down the line. No hate against him, but he walked in and he was just like, "Oh, I own this place. I know everybody." And when my buddy and I were playing pool, he dropped 4 quarters on the ledge and was like, "Doubles next game," which meant like 2-on-2.
Yep.
And I looked down and I was like, "You're a quarter short. It's $1.25." And he got mad. And I was just like, or leave us alone so that we can keep playing. If you want to get in on this, go to Royal Farms and find another freaking quarter, honestly. Like,
it's just 25 cents. I mean,
no, because
there are people that, like, just like sports, you mess up their pool game, you're liable to get cut.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, no, like, I play at the Tumble Inn, and the people play pool down there. They are aggressively intimidating down there.
For
like,
sure.
They take the stuff serious.
Yeah. Well,
so
I was later told that said person complained and was like, "I'm not breaking $1 for a quarter." And I was like, I had to go to the ATM and pay the $2.50 surcharge just to get a 20, and I go to the bartender and say, "Can I get 2 5s and 10 1s, please?" Like, just to play pool. Like, miss me.
Stop being a whoopsie.
Yeah, stop being a little
whoopsie.
Like, for serious though. The best thing about it was once he dropped that 5th quarter and we played the game, spanked them. And then
there you go.
And my
greatest
buddy,
comeback.
yeah, because we were just subtly like, yeah, who the fuck are you? And then because he was acting like he owned a place, he was like, all right. And I was just like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. And he can't even break the ball. Like, wait, that wasn't right. That's not the ball I usually use. Okay, yeah, we just know you're not strong, buddy.
You know when people wind back and then they go to hit the ball and it slides up. They totally did that in that game, and I was just like, these right here.
You're like Zach Galifianakis, like. Just slowly laughing inside.
Like crying on the inside, like. Best ab workout ever is trying to laugh as hard as you can without showing it. It's right there.
Yeah.
Because that I just got to work out from that.
Yeah, who needs crunches? Jesus.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Crunches, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, after that game, And this is during the AFC game where I watched Joe Burrow get sacked 3 times in the first quarter. I was like, Chiefs are winning this game. And I actually got disinterested. I walked away. I kind of looked and I saw that it was a close game, but I was like, whatever. Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Whoever wins this, good for them. Duke it out. Our next game is against whoever can make this a finish, right?
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about the first touchdown by the Chiefs that they got called back because they didn't call it a touchdown, where the guy clearly brought it in and had it. And I thought they were going to call it because, I mean, they were in Kansas City, so I'm like, all right, they're challenging, but they're New York's going to be challenging it, but they're going to get it. The guy clearly caught it and brought it down, but when they called it back, I'm like, wow. You know,
well, the angles, like the camera angles that show, and I was sitting there like, because the first time I saw it, I was like, that's a catch. He was clearly in possession, lowered it in, held it in, and then when they showed the different camera angles, I'm like, look, it's bouncing all around his six pack. It's all underneath of him. It's all underneath of his arms. Like, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa.
But then again, I think the Eagles got away with a Devontae Smith catch too in the beginning of the game where he caught that 39-year-old that 39-year-old pass. Jeez, that 39-yard pass.
There you go.
And I can talk. And it fumbled at the end when they went to the review, but if you notice, when he caught it and got back up, he's like, doing the signal to like no huddle, let's run this because I know I probably dropped it, so I don't want these refs to be seeing it. And they got the next thing off, so you can't challenge it. So we might have got away with the play there. A lot of people are going to speculate that. The camera angle was the ball was hidden, so it looked like a catch. But when they saw it from the other angle, it looked like it popped out a little bit at the end, but who knows? I mean, we got away with it. Not the first time a play has gone, without being challenged. But the fact that it happened twice with the Chiefs with their 2 touchdowns that they first had, which was crazy, and then they ended up having to have 2 field goals out of it.
Let's talk about the ejections.
Yeah, at the end of the Eagles,
look, yeah, because I was sitting there and I was just like, oh, Niners are just bent out of shape. They're bitter.
Yeah.
And that's like, first of all, those 3 left hooks trying to punch the ball, that's not how you do it. That was, okay, do what you got to do. I understand that. But at the same time, I thought he was just hitting the guy in the rib. I was like, he's just punching this guy. Now, the fight broke out, right? And I forget who came up and yanked whoever down and threw him on the ground.
Yeah, it was one of the O linemen from San Diego San Francisco. And I didn't even see that initially. I saw that on a replay. I'm like, oh, okay, he's out. And then,
but that's them ejecting both players. I'm like,
I think the only reason why the Eagles guy got ejected was because he swung a punch after that. But hey, and somebody said that he might not be playing in the Super Bowl. He might be getting suspended because of that, which I think is stupid because he was just reacting to him getting his, he just got yanked down to the ground because of somebody. He didn't even see it coming. I'd punch somebody out too.
Yeah, for sure. This feels like very elementary school playground, like, oh, someone started a fight and the other person retaliated, but both people have to get in trouble. Like, no.
Yeah.
Whoopsie. Nonsense. Absolutely not. Right? And that's when I saw that, I was like, this is garbage. And this is just the Niners being bitter because they know they're about to lose. Right?
Right.
That's how I felt about it.
It was the end of the game, and even Merrill on the WIP, 94.1 WIP, he was saying, why go through all this? There's like 40 seconds left in the game. Let the game run out. I mean, it'd be different if it was a close game, but it's just obvious, they were just letting their frustrations out. So just let the game end. You don't have to be getting it to this point.
Yeah, I mean, that was wild to me. And then, like I said, we left that spot and we moved to the next spot, and
Mm-hmm.
the AFC conference game was starting. And like I said, Joe Burrow got sacked like 3 times within the first half of the first quarter. And I was
Right.
just like, Chiefs are getting this. I actually wanted the Burrows to get the win because I'm all for, like, I think Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, like them as young quarterbacks. Patrick
They will have
Mahomes.
their day. They're definitely going to climb that. They're definitely going to get in there soon.
Patrick Mahomes has had his moment already. That's why I was like, Burrows, jeez. Bengals.
At least that's you now. That's good.
Yeah. Hey, you and I, 20 forever.
Okay, drink.
Okay, great. I think that the Bengals and the Bills are going to have their moment sometime in the next 5 years. It's just weird to see these teams that were so good that are just dying off, and I'm like, whew.
Yeah, we're definitely going through that shift in, like, and it happened with the NBA too. That a lot of your bigger teams, like, that were back in like the '90s, like the Bulls, the Utah Jazz. I mean, Boston's still in there, but like Sixers weren't even really too much of a team to play with back then.
What
But
about the Nuggets?
I mean, I haven't really followed the Nuggets too much. I mean, they weren't really that great of a team. I think they've gotten better over the last couple years.
How about the Wizards, Warriors?
Warriors are still in it. Golden State Warriors, they're still in it, but they just won last year. So, but I think Curry just came back off of an injury or something.
Steph Curry is like this generation's. I mean, he's just.
Oh yeah.
He's phenomenal.
But even like for NFL, like you're starting to see, obviously Brady's out of New England. He's coming in with Tampa Bay. I think personally we saw the last game of Tom Brady this season. I would like to think he hangs it up. I think also we probably saw the last of Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers too. Yes.
I think he's going to be hanging it up because, again, talking about the general shift in like, teams, like the younger teams are starting to get their impact. The Josh Allens, Joe Burrow, Mahomes, Hurts, all of them have that same caliber type of quarterback to them, where a lot of these quarterbacks are more mobile than your traditional quarterbacks, like the ones we grew up with. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Ben, all those guys were like pocket quarterbacks. They didn't really do too much running unless they had to. Where, like Jalen Hurts is, I think, the top one that we got to pinpoint out of this because he's such a mobile quarterback. And the dude is a monster, benching 500 pounds. So it's one thing to be a mobile quarterback, but the strength that this dude has on those, 4th and 1s, he just and again, a lot of that has to do with having a great O-line, but he just clobbers through those people, and it's just like it's the perfect little thing that we have going on right now. And 2 years ago, I would have never thought Jalen Hurts would be the guy taking us to a Super Bowl.
No, 2 years ago, my buddy that I watched the game with, he was like, "Do you think Jalen Hurts is our guy?" I was like, "No." I just thought he was
the same thing that next season after Wentz was gone and Hurts was doing his first season. Like, he's not our guy. We're going to give him this year, see what happens. He did okay, but I think he knew this season that we're in now, he knew this was going to be the deciding season for him. And he went into that offseason. I don't know what the heck he did, but he flipped his game into a 360 because he came into this season charged up.
Well, it's really interesting and also not that surprising to think like, oh, this guy's showing up in a suit with a briefcase and he's sitting down and he's carrying himself like a professional. And he's just like, no, I'm not here to around. I'm here to do work. And
Yeah.
I think that is like that. God, I can't even say if they win. I can't say it. Um, but the way he's carrying himself right now, he takes himself and what he does so seriously that is motivating to everyone. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy showed up and like everyone was like, he's not our guy. Guess what? He is our
Whoopsie.
guy. He is it. Jalen Hurts is our man. And
And it's been proven that the team is different when Jalen Hurts is not in that game.
yeah,
Those 2 games we had without him, totally different vibe.
100%. Yeah.
And when he came back in, and it don't even the matter of fact that we won with him and we didn't win without him. That's one thing, yeah. But just the whole vibe of the team when he wasn't in that game and when he was in the game, 2 different types of vibes. So the team is so much better when Jalen is in that game. So, again, this is going to be, and let's just talk a minute about the, I made a post going into this weekend and it was kind of more of a rub to the NFL, but also like I knew this was probably going to happen because I'm a genius like that.
You're pretty smart, bro.
Yeah, I try. That said, if the NFL is rigged, it's going to be the Eagles and the Chiefs because there's so much more like entertaining storyline to these 2 teams. First off, we got the 2 QBs, which are 2 MVP quality, quarterbacks, which are in the MVP reign. Whoever wins this is probably going to get the MVP of the year, most likely. And the fact that these 2 guys are going to be the first 2, and I'm not going to get too political here, but these 2 teams are going to be these 2 quarterbacks are going to be the first 2 black quarterbacks in a Super Bowl. So this is so much more meaningful than just a game, but just making history in the NFL that this is the first time we're going to be witnessing it. So just putting that into perspective, that's just something more motivating as a whole to be seeing that. And,
I think what's important is that they both acknowledge each other. But
acknowledge.
honestly, when Nick Foles won, like, not that he single-handedly won the Eagles our first ring, but Tom Brady just walked away, dismissed him.
Yep.
I just want to see. I don't care. I mean, I do care. I obviously want the Eagles to win.
Yeah.
But I want them to both be men and go shake each other's hands and be like, "You played a great game. Thank you." And
I highly agree that I think there will be a mutual,
respect.
Respect between them, because even Patrick Mahomes in his little interview after the game, he was even saying, he's like, I've been watching the Eagles all year long. They got a great team. They're very motivated. They got a good organization down there. I'm looking forward to playing them. But then he's like, but I'm going to celebrate this, blah, blah, blah. So he already acknowledges that we have a great team and, we're coming after them. It's going to be a great game. I feel I'm going into this a lot more confident than what I was in 2017 against the Patriots. I was all good up until I'm like, okay, we got to face the Patriots. We got to face the GOAT in the Super Bowl. How are we going to get through this? It's one thing if you were able to take out Brady, we had a chance, but we just, that was just something spectacular in that game.
I honestly, when Carson Wentz was out, I was just like, we're done. I lost hope entirely.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was, because that was our luck.
Nick Foles stepped in and just took us to. He was just like, "Oh, hold my beer, watch this."
Yeah, down, literally. Hold my beer, I got this.
Yeah, seriously.
Again, when Carson got hurt, I was like, that's totally Philly's luck. We're done. We had a perfect year. But that's our luck. That, we were going and having this going, but yep, that's our luck. All right, see you next year. But then Nobody would have thought that we'd have won a Super Bowl with a backup QB. You know,
Well, and I think that's where I think everybody underestimated us because we had the backup QB. Nick Foles
yep.
jump in.
And there were so many other things going on with the team. The fact that we had so many injuries, and we had a lot of older teammates on there that were coming out of. We still have a couple of the guys from the championship team. Kelsey and Lane Johnson, a couple of those guys, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, a lot of the defense and no-line are still there. But yeah, we had a lot of guys that they felt they were too old or they didn't have the numbers to put up to be a championship quality team. But again, we proved them wrong. We took that motivation and, we turned it into something to really get us, to prove the naysayers wrong. And, I feel this year we don't have the underdog quality to be like, okay, well, people are doubting us. Everybody's always going to doubt Philly no matter what, because it's a Philly thing, right? Hashtag it's a Philly thing. But yeah, I'm stoked for this game because there's so much on the line, like I said about that. But like on the fact that we have the two Kelsey brothers that are in the Super Bowl together. This is the first time two brothers are. This is the first time the two brothers are facing each other in a Super Bowl. This is awesome. We got the Kelsey brothers. We already seen what Jason Kelly has done because of his speech at the Super Bowl parade that we did. And we already seen what Travis Kelce, because he already gave a shot out. He already took his shot and said to the Cincinnati mayor, saying, like, you need to know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni. So I was like, all right, this is going to be an entertain. And, hey, it's entertainment. Sports entertainment, no matter what. So it's all for the entertainment things. But, yeah, that's what we want. It's going to get the ratings going.
How are you parents of kids that play for opposite teams? We ran into this when Aaron Nola and Austin Nola faced each other in the playoffs. Now we have Jason and Travis Kelce playing each other in a Super Bowl. And I'm like, how are you a parent of both kids? And you're like, good luck, son. And like, you don't want you want both of them to win, but you don't want either of them to lose. And you're just like,
what? Right? I think I saw a picture earlier today. I think it was, both Jason and Travis's mother. She had a jersey on of like a mixture of the Chiefs and the Eagles. So it had a mixture of Travis and Jason's jersey on there.
Cut in half. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually going like down this way. So like It was Chiefs on this side and then Eagles on the back side. So
over here or
100%. Yeah.
We're cutting that out. But I just wanted to say.
But no, so that was cool. How can as a parent, it's like, how do you handle that? You got both your kids in a Super Bowl, obviously you're going to just be like, hey, may the best person win, but I'm just glad to see, my two sons, doing what they love out on a national field. That's got to feel very, proud as a parent to do that. So and then plus you got the whole Andy Reid thing, with him being a head coach of the Eagles years ago, him going to Kansas City, winning 2 Super Bowls already, coming back, facing his old team. Again, there's so much, and that's why I said, excuse me, there's no way the Eagles and the Chiefs are not going to be facing each other in the Super Bowl because there's so much, news you can get out of this before the game even, gets kicked off.
They're both 14-3 in a regular season, right? Like, so it would only make sense. Like, they should meet each other. Were they? Yeah. Yeah, I have the game stats pulled up. 14-3 Eagles and 14-3 Chiefs. Yeah, they were both leading as far as the regular season record goes. So it's like, it makes sense. They should be the champions to meet against each other to decide who's the one,
Yep,
right?
the one.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty stoked. Other than, like I said, I didn't pay too much attention to the AFC Championship game because, like I said, Joe Burrow got sacked a few times, and then every time I looked up, I was just like, nothing exciting is happening. I even saw tweets that were like people saying that they were disappointed that the NFC Championship game. Now, us being Eagles fans, it's like, I don't give a f- you can complain all you
Yeah, I
want.
mean,
But
hey, a win's a win.
a
But yeah,
win's a win. Yeah.
a win is a win.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is disappointing that it wasn't competitive because Purdy got hurt and this and that and everything. And
Yeah, well, that's
so
because
yeah, on that fact, that's why I said it's unfortunate that Purdy got hurt. They had to deal with all this because you wanted to see a competitive game. But hey, we'll take the win. I'm not complaining about it.
yeah,
So,
what's
it's what happens.
Yeah, what's wild is we thought that he knocked his arm and then the ball went loose, but he actually Butterfinger slipped it off before he even tossed it.
Mm-hmm.
Before
his
the
arm
connection
went
happened.
back like the opposite direction when
Yeah.
that. And we got to give a shout out to Reddit because he had an awesome game. If it wasn't for him with a lot of those sacks, and there was a lot of other dudes that were doing it, but he had an incredible game to be able to have a couple of those like big play sacks for us. The dude's a beast. He comes out every game, and that was one of our biggest pickups, I feel, for this year, that we picked him up.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm sure your friend would agree.
Yeah, you and him need to have a conversation sometime because
Absolutely,
he's just so tuned in. Like I said, he became a fan when he was like a tyke. So he's sitting there 5 minutes left in the game, and he's sitting there. He's like, "Dude, I'm getting emotional," and like I could see the energy building up inside him. I could see him like holding the tears back behind his eyes, and I was just like, "Dude, it's good. We're going to the Super Bowl. Like, it's all right." Like I said,
yeah, I was good up until like probably like it got down to like 3 to 2 minutes. I'm like, all right, we're going. Because at first I'm like, all right, anything can happen. But once it got under 5 for 3 minutes, I'm like, all right, we're good. This game's over.
The differential was like 3 scores at least. I was like, Niners aren't coming back from this.
No, I think once we got that last interception around like the 4-minute mark, I'm like, yeah, we're done. We're good.
Done.
That sealed it. Done.
See ya.
Cut, print, paste. We're good.
Cut, copy. Yeah, let's get the f- out of here.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Real quick. Hold on. Just time stamping things. Okay. So,
shall we possibly change pace and go over real quick the Royal Rumble for this weekend?
I was just getting ready to say let's do that because I think we talked enough football. Unless you want to talk about who do you think is winning the Super Bowl? Obviously, we will both love to see the Eagles win, but like try to be objective about it and say, what do you think?
Well, me and my brother both put $25 on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. Okay. So I'm going with the Eagles. My dad feels the Eagles have a good chance. I mean,
and your dad's a doctor, so he's pretty smart.
Yeah. I mean, he's a doctor, but he's got that sports talk. You got that sports talk. But
sports. Yeah.
Sports. But yeah, I mean, not just because, we're the home team, we're rooting for the home team, but I feel just something in us this year again. Like we have that spark. We're dialed in. We're ready to go. We have one more game, couple more practices to go, and we're ready for this game. As long as we can continue to execute on both ends of the spectrum. Again, I'll say the same thing what I said with the Niners. It's not going to be an easy game. The only thing I'll say is Patrick Mahomes with that high ankle sprain, he's going to be playing with a high ankle sprain. He has 2 weeks to really rest that, but it's not going to be fully recovered in 2 weeks.
No.
So it's really going to be interesting
factor.
how he's going to
Yeah.
feel. It's going to be interesting how he feels because you can even see it in the game Sunday when he was taking that right foot because that's his planning foot for his throw. So that's a big factor too. And when he was running on that foot to try to throw on his opposite foot, he was coming off that and kind of limping a little bit. So he was still obviously, favoring that. But they obviously probably shot him up with, some type of thing back there to make him, not feel that pain or anything, which is understandable. But it definitely will be interesting how much he heals in the next 2 weeks and how he's going to look in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, if ever you and I were both objective about a game, we'd be like, well, here's the thing. If the Eagles could win it with Nick Foles, backup quarterback, they can win it now.
Yep.
And they should win it this year because okay, here's the thing, right? I'm not like my buddy that I was talking about where he's like over the top, like, oh, Eagles everything all day, every day.
Yeah, like not even like giving a second guess, just Eagles all the way.
Yeah, no, I'm very like reasonable where it's like, okay, here's the thing. Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. That's where I'm at with it. And I don't make like bold statements like that.
Right.
Unless I feel it in my gut and I know they have it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's
go Eagles.
Let's go Birds. Let's get to the Rumble talk and the WWE stuff. And we won't keep this too long because we've been talking a lot of wrestling recently. Go ahead. You first.
Well, we can save the ending for the end, but we can go through. We don't have to go. Maybe if you don't want to, we don't have to go through like the whole card, or we can just briefly go over everything. I missed the men's Royal Rumble. I was just coming back from my gig, but I heard from you and a couple other people that it was 50-50. Some people liked it, some people didn't. But we were both we both had our predictions right. Cody Rhodes won. And, with Gunther being in there just as long as Cody, obviously that's something then for them to say that Gunther's eventually going to be, in a championship match down the line.
He's the guy.
So they're definitely putting something with him.
He's got stock in him. Yeah.
They're saying that he could be another advocate for facing Brock Lesnar eventually, which I'm down for. That'll be a cool one. And I'll definitely be down for that. But obviously, I think him and Bobby Lashley need to, do their whole, feud because it looks like they're going to do a feud for WrestleMania. So they'll get their last little feud out of the way. But I'll be down for the Gunther and Brock Lesnar thing. What did you think about the Rumble? I mean, like I said, I didn't really see too much of it, but what did you think?
So it's tough because once 2020 hit and Brock entered the Rumble at number 1 with the belt and like Drew knocked him out and Edge's big return, I hold that to like the high standard of being like, oh, are you gonna do better than this, or is it gonna be
whoopsie?
I don't think it was
whoopsie.
Honestly, I wasn't that excited about it. I mean, and part of it, even Rhea Ripley winning the Women's Rumble, which we knew it was fine. I felt like they could have done better with like making it a little bit more dynamic. I just wasn't
Hmm.
surprised. I wasn't surprised like a lot. I wasn't just like, oh my god. Um, they obviously saved a lot of the stock for the end of the show with the Sammy doing the turn on Roman, which was a callback to the Shield breakup. Obviously,
Yeah, a lot of people
um,
are saying that chair in the back was a callback to when Roman, fell down with the Shield breakup, which
when
I
Seth,
totally thought of that too.
mhm.
So,
And
yeah, absolutely.
I am definitely intrigued to see where that goes. I mean,
Yes,
obviously, we're getting Sammy versus Roman at the Chamber, which is in Montreal, which is in Canada, where Sammy's
Sami
from.
Zayn. Yeah.
hmm Which people have been talking about that for a couple months now, and I'm like, oh yeah, well that totally makes sense. I was just like, as long as they do it right, which they did. I like how they did it on the pay per view. Um, and I really like how Jey Uso is very like torn about the stuff. That makes it interesting. It's not just like, oh, the whole bloodline's just beating up Sami Zayn. Wow. Um,
Right.
he just walked away and he was just like, I can't be a part of this. I can't do this. Um,
Hmm.
keeps it interesting. 100%.
Yeah. I think that like top of the line, awesome storytelling. It's probably been the best ending to a pay per view in a very very long time. Like the emotions, the storytelling part of it, just because you were anticipating something was going to happen, and I thought it was just spot on storytelling for an end of a pay. We haven't had that much of an emotional ending to a pay per view in a very very long time.
And we have Paul Triple H to thank for that because he used to do that
Yes.
stuff in NXT because
Hmm.
NXT would be going off the air. They'd show the credits and we'd be like, oh, we're done. Oh, we got to go. We're out of here. Cut.
See you later. Right.
We got to go. And then all of a sudden, something would happen.
Yes.
That is a very Triple H move. So I
Yeah.
am
Definitely
stoked.
has.
He pulled
Definitely
the
has Triple H all over that.
he pulled the trigger on that sequence to end the show because the rest of the show is just like it's very okay. Like I'm not mad about who won either of the rumbles.
No.
I
No.
just and some of the eliminations were fun, but I was just like, it's okay. Pardon me. I think going forward that Bianca is going to drop the belt to Becky Lynch, and then we're going to get Rhea Ripley versus Becky at Mania because they already had the stare down like a couple months ago where everyone was just
Hmm.
like, yeah. So I think somehow they're going to get the belt off of Bianca and on to Becky, and then maybe they do it at the Chamber so that because Becky's a face right now, right? So Bianca can
Yes.
defend her belt in the Chamber and can lose, and Becky doesn't have to look like a bad person for
Right.
winning the Chamber. And then Becky has a belt going into face Rhea Ripley, which I think is a move. Now, granted, we are recording this over Raw, which I'm not even watching. Do you have it on your end or no?
I do, and I was going to say I'm not sure if you saw Rhea Ripley's promo tonight. She officially said that she's going to challenge Charlotte at WrestleMania.
Okay.
So I was going to let you kind of play out there. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I liked how you were going. But I'm like, gonna have to do a little bit of changing on that a little bit, but yeah.
Well, I think everything that they're trying to do right now is say we're doing this now, and then we're gonna flip the script later on, and that's what keeps people watching. Because
Yeah.
right now, I will still say Rhea against Becky. Somehow, they're
Okay.
gonna make that happen. Somehow they're gonna flip the script. Who's got the better story against Charlotte? I don't even care because she just came back and beat Ronda, and I was just like, "There's no story with you or anyone else right now."
No, it's
I would,
just getting Ronda the belt off Ronda because she was just blocked. Get her off the TV. It's
I
fine.
would, I would say Asuka, um, with her new face getup, I'd be like, absolutely,
ICP. Yes.
ICP.
Yes.
Yes, that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Bobby Lashley Brock Lesnar WrestleMania match, I saw coming from 6 months ago, and then when they had the Saudi match of where Brock was in the Hurt Lock and then he jumped off the turnbuckle and then scored the pin, I was like, that's not the last of that. They're
Yeah.
going to finite this
Yep.
at WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That'll definitely be there. Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. What do you think about Austin Theory, Seth Rollins? Or do you think Austin Theory, John Cena?
If they're calling for John Cena to make this WrestleMania, I mean, if we are getting The Rock at WrestleMania, I don't think we get two. I don't think we get Cena and Rock at WrestleMania. So it's going to be either one.
Yeah.
The obvious one, if they're trying to do this whole bloodline story now, like I was telling you earlier in the week, I mean, if this is the way they're running with the storyline right now with the bloodline, I don't see them kind of getting The Rock involved in this because there's so much storytelling within the Sammy and KO stuff right now that you can find a way to put Rock into it, but I feel you have to let this little thing pan out, and maybe you get The Rock for like SummerSlam or something.
No. Here's the thing: The Rock and Roman is a WrestleMania match, right?
Oh, it definitely is 100%.
And if they're not gonna do it this Mania, and we get to see it at Mania 40,
We are there 100%.
100%.
Saving up now.
and honestly, they just need to make Roman strong without the belts so that the belts can like place significance elsewhere, and Roman can just be like, yeah. I don't need a belt. I'm that guy. Like the Undertaker, right? He was just like, I don't need titles.
Whoopsie. No.
I'm it. I'm that dude.
Exactly. You know, I mean, they've already done, but then again, it was Rock and Cena. I think those are the only two that you can really do a whole year's worth of promo before a WrestleMania match. I don't think you can do the same thing with Roman and The Rock. But if you wanted to wait, if the Rock and Roman thing does not pan out, you could probably find a way to elongate the bloodline story going into the Rock and Roman thing. But the thing is, you're probably not going to have Roman with a lot of his entourage now because it seems like everything's going to be broken up. So it's just going to be him. Now, does he still keep Paul Heyman by his side? We'll see. But if we're talking long term like that, because I like that type of angle too. That if they just don't see a way to get him in there this year, which I think, and we both agree that I think they're just trolling a lot of this out to say they go, he's not ready. Oh, he's not saying that he's going to be there, but it's an open invitation for him to be here whenever he wants. I think it's all troll because it's obviously been the same way with like how we thought, Michelle McCool wasn't going to be in the Rumble, but then she was in the front row. Like she's going to be in there. They're just calling it out. Come on now.
Come on now.
This ain't our first. This ain't our. Come on now. Come on, son. Come on,
this
son.
ain't our first rodeo. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, son.
Come on.
But so yeah, I think in a reality we will get Rock at WrestleMania. Now it could just be we don't even get him till WrestleMania, and we just get a fight that night from him, and he just calls him out that night. I mean, they could just troll it out all the way till WrestleMania or very close to it.
Yeah, you know what they could do is have Cody lose to Roman night 1, and night 2, Roman comes out and cuts a promo and he's like, "Acknowledge me. I am your tribal chief."
Yeah.
And then The Rock just
Yeah.
comes out, and then they have the stare down, and they just end the show like that. Like, I could see
Yeah.
that playing out, and I would be here for it. I'd be like, "Oh, they're doing it. They're doing it."
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but dude, Dwayne is like 50 years old. Now, granted, he's obviously in tremendous shape. Yeah.
Insane amount of shape. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, him going into main event WrestleMania next year isn't like someone saying, "Oh, Hulk Hogan could go do it." No, he can sit his saggy
Whoopsie
down real quick.
Yeah. Right. So, and again, we're going into this and like, you know, going into this road to WrestleMania. We're officially on the road to WrestleMania, and you know, there's a lot that's going to be happening. I feel and that whole thing at the end of the Rumble set everything off. That it's just like set the tone for how this road is going to be, and I'm stoked to see how everything pans out in these next couple months.
Well, I think Sammy and Kevin versus Jimmy and Jay for the tag titles is the move. I think we've all thought it, but now the dynamic of Jay walking out, he could do that again in the match and leave Jimmy in the ring alone, and then Kevin and Sammy can just obliterate him, right? And then
take revenge,
and then get the belts, and Jay doesn't care. And then they'll do a segment backstage like with Roman, like, "What are you doing? Aren't you the bloodline?" And he's just going to be like, "I'm out.
Yeah.
See you. Bye."
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You ain't my brother no more.
You ain't my brother no more.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, but before we get out of here, I think we got to acknowledge one last time that I think we hit a grand slam this weekend. We hit both of our NFL picks, and I think we hit all of our Rumble picks. So I think this is a first for us. This is a definite big first on the One Set podcast that we hit a grand slam this weekend. You know, this was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we both had the Chiefs and the Eagles going in. I know I said Rock and Cody double elimination, but the way they've been building it, I do agree. Pardon me. Cody going into the Rumble, I feel like has been the move since last WrestleMania.
And even then, since he came back with his promos, it was obvious that he was going into the Rumble and he was going to win. You know,
it was kind of a shoo-in. Rhea, just the way that she's been built up with the Judgment Day, like basically, she's almost she might be the strongest person on the Judgment Day right now. She might be like, I'm swinging my way better than y'all are. Like,
my theoretical TD. But yeah, and that was the thing that she'd said in her promo, that she's like, you know, I usually come out here with my Judgment Day, you know, crew, but I wanted the spotlight to be on me tonight. So that could be the start to, you know, even the Judgment Day starting to dwindle down. The fact that, you know, she, like you were saying on the last episode, that, you know, she's going to be like, hey, I won the Rumble. What the f have you guys been doing?
Yeah.
You know? So she's going to just start, you know, swinging her TD and being like, you know, hey, you know, start making stuff happen. Because if not, you know,
make moves, not conversations, right?
And Dominic's gonna be like, but mommy.
And then Ray's gonna be like, shut up!
Whoopsie!
Hey.
Shut up, bitch! Whoopsie! I told you she ain't right for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a great weekend of wrestling, NFL, everything's set for the Super Bowl. We're on the road to Wrestlemania. Uh, you know what better time, my friend?
Dude, you and I have a very, very fun episode coming up next week, because we're gonna do the food thing again, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So we're going to challenge each other to these foods, the good stuff and the not good stuff, and see who can stomach what, right? It's gonna be
let's
a
do
lot
it.
of fun. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. You've heard it first. We'll be looking forward to that next week. Again, I mean, if you're good, I think we can wrap up here. But if you're good with that,
Totally.
cool, man. Uh, Everyone, thank you for being here again. This is the One Set Podcast. My name's Anthony Irvin. My brother Jim Green here. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're here for the first time, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, hit the follow button, subscribe there as well. Share us with a friend. Let us know, or let them know. We are uploading every Friday for episodes. Send us some messages. Let us know what you're thinking of the content, and send us some questions, and join the ride, man. Anything you want to say to the people out there, buddy?
Absolutely. Let's go back to these sizes for shoes, which we talked about earlier on.
Yeah.
When you buy someone shoes, you have to know their shoe sizes, right? But shoes don't fit comfortably, right? So,
Right.
like I said, I bought Cheyenne this hat. I thought, her dome's a little smaller than mine. I dropped it down like a little size, and since then have jumped around to multiple lids stores to try to find the appropriate size. My sister hosted a 90th birthday party, which happy birthday to, not gonna name drop you, but happy birthday and
Happy birthday.
all of the love. Carly's friend brought a hat and said, "This is for your dad for his birthday," and it just so happened to be this one, and
Yeah.
it is a 7 5/8, which just fit my dome perfectly. And I was like,
Perfectly.
I put it on, and I was like, 100%. Oh, look at all this nonsense! Awesome.
Sweet.
And my mom was like, "Yeah, just wear it. Your dad probably won't." I was like, "All right," because it's pretty fly. Like you said, when we jumped on, you were like, "That's a sweet hat," right?
Yeah. I love the colors. Fire red. That's awesome.
And that's all I wanted to wrap up with, since we started the episode with like shoe sizes, hat sizes, and stuff. I just wanted to make sure we closed out with that. And
Absolutely.
I love you. To our followers and our listeners, all the love. One set. We love you. Take care.
One set. We love you guys. Love you, brother.